Hello, my squishies, and welcome to the secret felt along for the gnomes. Now, bear with me 1 second. I've got a little bit of back office work to do. I'll give people a chance to come in, although I don't know if anybody's coming in tonight. But I want to test this first. Let's see. There we go. Right. I hope everybody is sitting comfortably. Then we'll begin. That's definitely something. First of all, hello, welcome. I apologise in advance for all of my ramblings. I ramble a lot. I ramble nonsense. So feel free to mute me, fast forward me, rewind me, pause me, all that jazz. In fact, tonight we will be doing some pausing. But before we jump too far ahead, let's get into the basics. Because if you've never felt it before, I'm going to get you going. So tonight, hopefully, it might take a couple of nights, we're going to make these wonderful little, it's so big you cannot see them on the screen, these little guys. And these are some I had made earlier, but we're going to make our own ones tonight. They are so cute. They're little beards. They're sort of, oh, I'm breaking stuff already. They're similar to the, I can never pronounce this right, the Tomty gnomes. Or we've got a few sort of gnomes in Scottish folklore as well. But these are our special ones that, you know, are going to get put around the house this lovely winter that's coming up. So, what have you got in your kit? You'll have a foam mat. Mine's a little bit bigger than yours, just I've got, because having a tiny foam mat on the screen looks a bit odd. But yours should be more than big enough to do what we're going to do tonight. You'll see I only use a tiny bit of this excessively large mat. We've got our needles. Oh, and I forgot one very important thing. We've got our needles here. So, oh, where's my camera tonight? There we go. So these are really sharp. So please do not stab yourself. That end's barbed and really pointy. But the bit I've forgotten is my needle holder. Where is it hiding? Nope, I've lost it. It'll come to me in a second and then I'll show you how to use it. I put it somewhere safe. Where is safe, you ask me? Who knows? Anyway. So you've got your needles. We'll have needle holder in a second. But also in the kit, we've got all of the lovely fibre. Now you might have different colours than I have here. And I'm going to do kits in different colours. And you can do whatever pattern you like on the gnome. So don't just follow what I've done. You're in control of your gnome. But we've got various things here. So we've got, this is going to form the centre of him. We're going to then pad him out with this lovely stuff. Put some colour on, put a beard on him, and we've got a choice of nose colours depending on what you want. All in your kit. But first, I've remembered where I put the needle holders. Give me 1 second. Feel free to play with fibre while you're doing this. I'm back. Did you miss me? So we have your needle holder. So this just makes it easier to hold. I don't tend to use these, which is why I didn't have one lying around. But it does make it a lot easier to hold the needle. And the way this works is you've got a little peg. Let's do this for the camera. Can you see me? Hopefully. You've got a little peg in one end there. Take out this peg. Pop your needle into the groove with the hook over the small end there. And if I take all this away, it might look a bit more sensible. There we go. With your hook over the small end there. And pop it back in. And then you can stab away. I'll do that one more time. So you've got the peg in one end. Just pull out the peg there. Pop it in the groove so that the hook is over the small end, and then pop it back in again. So you can use these, but you don't have to. I don't tend to use them because I've tendency. You can get these for 1 needle, 3 needles, 6 needles and up, but I tend to just hold them because I'm swapping needle amounts quite a lot, you'll notice. Okay, what have I forgotten? Oh, I've forgotten one of the most important things. So this is our tops or roving. It's Shetland roving. It's absolutely beautiful, but there's a few tricks to working with it. So when we're going to be pulling little bits off, you want to have your hands nice and far apart and pull gently, and you'll see you'll get this kind of thing out, and this is the length of the hair that comes off the sheep, because this is just sheep's wool that's been washed, brushed and dyed, not yet been spun up into yarn. So again, you want to have your hands nice and far apart. You can pull out just little bits, because if you had your hands close together, you'd be pulling on both ends, which would be no use. And then there's one other trick. If it's ever twisted like this, again, you're not going to be able to pull it apart, because the twist is what holds the yarn together. So there we go. And we use a remarkably small amount of this colour. But that, I think, we are here for, we're there. Should we get felting? I don't think I can see any questions. I just want to check that I'm live. I think I'm still going. Excellent. Right, let's get started. Let's look at the anatomy of the gnome first before we start. So let's take this guy. So he goes from, I hate to say this, quite a fat bottom up to a pointy head. And this one again, from a fat bottom to pointy head, but you can see this one is so much longer. And these have both come from my test kits that I've done. So it's both the same amount of fibre, it's both the same everything. One's just slightly taller and skinnier, and one's a little bit shorter and fatter. So you get to decide just now, roughly, if you're going to want to go for a shorter, fatter one or a taller, skinnier one. And that'll sort of adjust what we're doing slightly just now. But to start off, oh, he's left his beard behind. To start off with, what we're going to do is you're going to take this bit of the material, the felt material, this is Shetland pre-felt, fold it in half so it forms a triangle. So we've got just folding it in half, and then we're going to roll from, this is the folded side, we're just going to roll up. Don't worry about the top bit, we'll deal with that later, but we want to have a nice flat bottom. I would say like you're rolling up a napkin, but so you've got a nice flat bottom there, and it's coming up to a fluffy point, but this is, we will deal with this. If you want, no, well, I'll get back to that in a minute. So that's our basic bottom shape, shall we say? I'm not going to, my rambling is going to be weird tonight. So that's the basic shape that we're going to start with. And I'm going to take my needle and I'm just going to stab straight in where this little loose bit that we finished off. I'm just stabbing in, and what I'm doing now is felting. So this is pushing the fibres from that top bit to mix in with the bits below, and you'll see you'll get little stabby holes, and this will now hold itself closed. It's magic. Felting is absolute magic. And what we're going to do, now that we've got a nice flat bottom, check it stands up, is we're going to start building out his body and shaping the top bit with this. These are Cheviot Slivers, so it's similar to tops, but it's slightly more rustic, not been as well brushed. It's like my hair first thing in the morning. So I'm going to grab a good little length of the slivers, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start going round, bulking him out a little bit. I'm just going to roll it round him, and when I want it to be just at the moment just the ends felting in and giving it a little felt all around. So I'm going to pull tighter as I go up every time I take some of the Cheviot slivers. So up here I'm going to pull it a little bit tighter because we've got that little space up here, because there's less of the pre-felt, the fabric. You'll see it squishes in. And then we're going to do the same again up there. Now if you want yours to be taller and skinnier, this is when you'd start building up a little bit further. And you'd start aiming your needles, still going straight, but aiming them more slightly in that way. But I want this one to be a nice, short, fat one. There we go, so I'm going to put a little bit more up the top. Just make him a tiny bit taller, and that'll stop his top being too much of a solid straight cut off. It's going to be more pointy. I'm going to pick up a few needles now and start just stabbing round and round. So I'm always moving him round. I'm keeping this hand nice and far away from where I'm stabbing. You are more likely to stab yourself with 3D felting than the 2D felting I've mostly been doing, but you can still mitigate it slightly by keeping your hands that little bit away. So I'm just working up and down. I'm going nice and far in. And you'll see he starts to take some shape and come together. You can also rub him and sort of squidge him like this. This will start the fibres, because what we're doing just now is we're knotting him up basically. We're locking all the fibres together. Ooh, move back up. We're locking all the fibres together. So we're doing it with the needle, or you can do it with a little bit of agitation as well. And check, so is he the right size for you just now? Is this how big you'd like him to be? I think I'm definitely going to have a bit of a fatter bottom, and I've got some of this left over. So I'm going to build up his bottom here. Adding a few more layers. Now don't worry, don't worry, generally good advice. But tonight, this isn't going to... Oh, I've lost my words. I've lost the words. It's been a long day. You're not going to have to watch me felt him until he's good and felted tonight, because I am going to get you to pause quite soon. Felt him up. Felt your one for a good bit longer until it's starting to take shape and the thickness you want him to be, and the hardness. This is the next point I need to make. I am rambling utter nonsense today. I'm just rambling and felting. Hopefully you're doing the same too, just rambling and felting. Because you'll start to feel him stiffening up. And that's, you know that felting's happening. So have a look at this one here. I can squish it quite thin. It's really pliable. But then if we have a look at one of my finished ones, he doesn't squish much. And although he's still pliable, there's definitely resistance there. This one's medium felted. I could still go over this for a wee bit longer. You see it's still a little bit squishy, reasonably pliable. But this one's definitely all of the squish, so we need to make him a little bit stiffer. And just now, if we were to angle this way, it would start getting a little bit longer. Or if you angle this way down to his bottom, it's going to keep him reasonably short. So remember, going in at different, still straight, but angled is totally fine. It's when you go in and bend, that's when you're likely to break needles. And if you do break a needle, please, please, please find the end that's broken off and dispose of it carefully. There we go. So it's going to take a good bit longer to get it up to where we want to go, but now is a good time to start thinking about colour and popping in some colour. So hopefully in your kits you've got the colours that you wanted. There's going to be a few options on the website so you can choose what colours you want. So I've chosen the traditional red and green because winter is coming. And you've also got a choice of pattern. So we can do the traditional stripes, which are awesome. I love having different thicknesses of stripes and having them a little bit wonky. I think it looks really cute. It's one of my favourite ways of doing it. You can have spots. So if we were going to do spots, just now you would just do the whole of him in the one colour and then add spots on at the end. So if you want spots, ignore what I'm going to do and just cover him all in one colour. Or you could just have him as a solid colour as well. So you could do like a, say if we've got my kit and you've got the green and the red, we could have a whole green hat and then a red bottom and maybe red trim around the hat, that kind of thing. So you've got a few options. You could, what else could you do? Zigzags, squares if you're feeling very adventurous. What else? Basically, have a look at different patterns and find a nice easy pattern if you're feeling adventurous. Otherwise, the stripes or spots are my favourite. I think I might do spots. No, I'm going to do stripes for this guy. In fact, I have to do stripes for this guy. You'll find out in a minute why. So let's do some stripes. So I'm going to start this one. I'm going to do a red bottom. So I'm just going to take some of the tops and I'm going to gently lay it round. So you don't need to go very thick just now. You'd be surprised how little you need, and you can always add in more afterwards. I'm just going to lay it round roughly there. And now as I'm felting in around, we're popping colour on him as well. And you can squidge it a little bit. It doesn't have to be, especially at this point, does not have to be straight and perfect. So do not panic about that. And remember, and cover up his bottom, but you want to make sure that he can still sit nice and flat, but we can adjust that later on, so don't panic if he starts to be a bit wobbly just now. Look how fluffy. Look at the fluff. So fluffy. Okay, so I'm gonna, that stripe is about down to from two bits of my finger length, but yours can be any size you want, but this is going to be as the sort of defining bottom. And then his hat's going to go up from here. Now to start off his hat, I'm actually going to do a green rim. So I'm going to do a reasonably thin green around there. And you can see you don't have to be tidy at this stage. It's going to go all over the place. We're going to tidy it up later on. And also your gnome's probably been out and about all day doing whatever. Is it a gnome, an elf, a tomty? Your little creature has been out and about. And it's probably a little bit ruffled up. I'm going to do that. And I'm going to add a round of red. And again, so you can choose the thickness now. You can have it thicker or thinner, even. You can try and get them nice and level, or you can try and have them all wiggly. Or if you've got spots, just ignore me just now and cover it all in the same colour. Because we'll add on the spots later. This is the super fun, where it suddenly starts to look like a thing stage. Like a weirdly shaped or a weirdly coloured Christmas tree. Or a traffic cone. Oh, if it was a traffic cone, we could put it on top of the statue in Glasgow. And it could be its Christmas traffic cone. So if yours is starting to look like a traffic cone, perfect. This is what we're going for. In fact, I should be calling it by its proper name. So I've decided that these ones are going to be called weans. Because in Scots, a wean is normally a kid or a small person, a short person. So wean. Different from Wayne, which is definitely a child. A wean could be anybody that's shorter or smaller. Because bigyan is just a big person. Or Billy Connolly. He's the bigyan. So this is our little wean. So from now on, I will refer to it by its proper name, wean. Wean. Got to say it. I occasionally lose my accent. It's not good. Oh, am I going to do a thin stripe now? Let's do a few thin ones up at the top. You can, or I will also, in fact, be adding in really thin ones later on, but you can do that on top of the fibre that you've already laid down. So I'm just going to get to the top of this guy. Let's do another thinnish layer. One more thinnish one. Now you see this top has got loads of compacting to do. So don't worry about that. We'll work, or you will. I'll pause the video. I'll have one I prepared earlier. But so you can feel the squish still up there. Silence. I've run out of words. Help. Or just concentration. Or it's been a long day. There you go. Now I do I want to stop on a red? Yes, I want to have a little, I think this one's going to have a green top. Because remember, we've got the fluffy top to do, and you can choose what colour you do that in. Okay, so we've got the basic colour laid out, and now what I'm going to get you guys to do is to, I know I'm doing this live just now, but it's aimed at people coming back in later, so I'm going to get you to pause this video and then spend a good bit of time stabbing around, just moving it around and stabbing, moving it around and stabbing, go nice and deep in. And you'll feel it start to sort of firm up, and it's hard to describe, but you'll just feel the change when it goes from fluffy to starting to compact, and it gets more and more, and you can really feel you want it to be quite firm. Like, what kind of fruit? a peach, kind of a nice, almost ripe peach, or something like that, rather than, I can't think of a soft fruit just now. But yeah, so pause this video, and then once you've got to, okay, let's go for ripe peach. A nice ripe peach, so it's just starting to really take shape, starting to feel the firmness. Remember, you can give it a roll and give it a squish, that helps it lock up as well, and it'll help it shape it as well if you do that. So pause now and come back now. Welcome back, my squishies. Magic of the internet. You've gone from a squishy thing like this to a nice firm-ish thing like this. It's apart from the fact that its bottom is a different colour, you'd never know. You can see the size difference as well. It's shortened a little bit and it's got quite a lot thinner. So it's maybe lost a centimetre around. So now we're ready to add in, still got a little bit of felting to go, he's not as firm as I'd like him to be, but we're ready to add in features like the hair, the beard, the nose, put a tuft on top of him and do all that jazz. Okay, so where are we gonna, which bit should we, I've lost his nose, there we go. Which bit should we start on? Let's start with putting in some beard. Now, you've got a choice with beard as to how much beard you want to do on him. You can do just a beard round the front and leave his back like he's not got any hair. You can do a full beard all the way round, or my personal favourite, the beard at the front and then a hairline at the back. This short hairline there, this is my favourite one because it just, those little curls at the back just peeping out. It separates the hat from the bottom really well and you get a nice beard at the front. I need to finish felting in this guy. He still needs a little bit more work. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do beard at the front and, oh my god, that's so fluffy, and hair at the back. So to do that on here, you've got your lovely locks. These are awesome. And there's going to be a few different types. You've got the nice, like, solid locks, and then you've got fluffy bits with a little bit of lock in them. So the nice fluffy lock, the solid locks, the sort of the ones that have a nice shine to them, have a little rummage and put the best of them aside because we want them to be in the front of his beard, front and centre. And you can use the rest like as underneath for padding. So you can see under there I've used the not so fluffy bits. And then I've put the best ones on top. So take a second just to find your best beard. It's not a phrase I ever thought I would utter. You don't need too much because it does. His beard's not going to, I mean, this is the wee and he's been out causing mischief and havoc, possibly, maybe. So his beard's not going to be perfect. If he was a big one, he'd definitely be out causing trouble. There we go, that should do it for my ones I'm going to set aside. But I'm going to start, I'm just going to decide which side is front. That's going to, there's arbitrary, there's no real science to it. I'm going to start with some fluffy ones and build up some fluff. And I'm going to try and aim. So this is the front. I want his beard to go down to the ground, I think. And now with this, you don't want to felt it in too well because I want the beard to be fluffy and sticking out. So you're just stabbing deeply, but only in a few places. Ooh, there's a nice bit I didn't see. So when it's got two ends like this, fold it in half so you get double the end, and you're only going to stab in that center bit where you folded. And you can see that that's made his beard, so I'll do that again. So with a double end one like this, you fold it in half and take the center, and it's the center that you're going to stab in. And remember, keep your hands as far away as possible from what you're felting. I'm going to add in a bit more of the nice stuff to shape out the beard before I start filling in more of the bottom. So again, I'm folding it in half. In this one, yeah, fold it in half. In fact, this one's going to get special treatment because it's so long. I'm going to fold it into 3, or half and half again, so that this fluffy bit is there. Again, taking this round there. And have a quick look, see if he's starting to come together. He's still like, it's a young beard so far. It could definitely do with some work, some growing time. I'm going to add in here a little bit. So you don't need much locks at all, that just really give that lovely beardy effect. I'm going to pop in. Oh, and in this fluff there'll be twigs and bits of random things, and I think that adds even more to the effect that we're going for. You can take them out if you want, but you can also just leave them in. See, now I'm starting to fill in under there. And don't worry, he will get a nose. He just looks really weird until you put his nose in. So stand him up and see, is his beard big enough? Or do you want his beard to be bigger? I think he needs a little bit wider on, where's his front? This side. I'm taking some more fluff and adding my little fluff under the bottom. Now we don't have to have the beard set just now. We're going to add to it, take away from it later on, but we just want to sketch out his beard, and I'm going to sketch out around just underneath this red rim. I'm going to take some of the fluffier ones that I've got and scrumfling them as we go. So I'm not laying it out straight, I'm just working slowly along, letting little curls, tufts develop. The technical, this is getting very technical. Around here. You can have fluffy bits, you can leave some locks sticking out. Oh, there we go. I'm just going to check one thing real quick. There we go. And we're also going to build up this red a little bit, so don't worry if it's looking a bit weird. There we go. Oh, I love it when it just sort of sticks out. So it's only lightly felted in. I'm going to go in later on and add more and felt it in properly. But he is starting to look like a gnome, minus the nose. But before I pop in, no, now let's pop in his nose. So you've got your choice. Where have I hidden them all? Ah, there's fluff everywhere. You've got your choice of colours for a nose. I've even included blue because Scottish. This is Scottish wean, and the northern people of Scotland, known as the Picts, back in the day were famous for painting themselves blue. So if you want to do a little Pict one, you can make his nose blue, or you can pick any colour that you want. So if you're doing a red one, I wouldn't recommend doing a red nose because it's just going to get hidden. I'm going to pop on, what colour? A pink nose, I think, or cream. How cold is he? No, cream's not going to stand out. Let's do a pink nose. So I'm taking a little bit of pink and scrumpling it up into a ball, and then I'm going to try and aim for the centre of where I've made his beard. That's a little bit too much to start with, although I reserve the right to build up more afterwards. I'm going to take his little pink nose in there, stab it. So we're going to aim to felt the nose quite well. I'll spend a little bit of time felting it. You're aiming for a round-ish button nose that's between the beard and the red. And your nose can be any size you want. You could have a wee nose, a big nose. I like this one's got quite a wee nose there. But then this guy's you definitely want it to stick out. So I'm going to add a little bit. Do I keep going off screen? Off screen, probably. So I'm going to add a little bit more. I will go back. I'll do a bit more first. I might go back in later on as well and add in more. Because as you're building up different bits, you see that you might need to enlarge the nose, make the nose smaller, depending. Okay, so now we need to, it doesn't need to be a big brim, but we're going to make a little bit of a brim. Oh, show it on the camera. Ignore this bit there. A little bit of a brim around the hat. So still in the red. Just going to build it up a little bit because I kind of want it. So I'm taking a bit, like a reasonable chunk, and making it go over his nose and then along the hairline, so that the nose is kind of poking out from under this little brim. It's nice if the brim goes sort of down a little on either side. And again, we can put a little bit around the back as well and build up some shape. So you should have enough of the colour to be able to do this in the coloured, in whatever colour you're doing the brim. Rather than, if you're wanting a really big brim, you can take more of the white and add that in and put colour on top, depending on the size you wish your brim to be. How much over the nose? Oh, I'm just rolling off screen here. For some reason, put my mat a little bit further forward than normal, so I keep forgetting. There we go. That's built that bottom bit up nicely, and make sure that he's still standing with his beard, and his beard's not making him topple over. Okay, we've got a nice nose, a nice little brim happening. Oh, a bit of fluff. Back now you can see his bottom's nice and flat. I've got quite a neat edge. If yours isn't like that, we have options. You can stab, stab, stab in the center, and that'll squish down. It's probably a good idea to do that anyway. To stab, 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 stab on the bottom. I know it feels a bit painful, but he's fine. Or if it's really bad and it's quite round and he's falling over all the time, you can take whatever colour you've got there, and you can again do what we did with the brim and add around there to thicken out that edge and to sure him up, if that makes sense. Here we go. So we've almost got all of it. I'm going to have a quick sip of water. We've almost got, oh, I'm breaking stuff. All of the features that we need. Oh, that's better. And then after that, it'll just be tidying up and felting. But the one last feature we've got is this little tuft. We need this little, I don't know the technical term for it, little fluff at the top. So I tend to use at the top the colour that the bottom is, but this is your Gnome. You can use whatever you like. You can, yeah, you've got options because you've got these colours as well, so you can use these for your tufts. But I'm going to use green, so I'm just going to take a little bit of the green, and I've taken one length, one pool, if that makes sense. And the moment I'm going to fold it in half, fold it in half, split it in half, and then I'm going to fold it in half. So we've got two fluffy ends and a bottom bit. And this bottom bit, I'm going to place where the fold would be there, and this is where you stab yourself a lot. I'm going to stab down the way, so I'm going, so keep your hands nice and far away, stab this center bit, and you'll see it starts, the more you stab in the center, it's starting to fold up. We're going to stab it enough down, and then so I can feel it. It's really fun. It starts to like go whoop because you're felting in that centre bit, and then he's got a wonky top. So I'm now then going to work around, so pushing it up, taking a little bit more of the red, and then putting it around that base that we just made, and stab, stab, stabbing. Turning and stabbing, turning and stabbing, locking it in. The more you do this, like these ones, they are not coming out. They're nice and firmly in. We've locked in that split at the bottom. Split? Not split. That's not the right word. The bit at the bottom. Whatever the name for that bit is, which I cannot currently remember. You can see I've literally used this much of this massive mat. Slight overkill today. There we go. Give it a wee smoosh. And I want to add a little bit more because there's a few, this happens, there's a few spots of green just popping through the red. And so when that happens, you can just this sounds very silly, add some more red on top. And pop those greens back inside. Okay, so he's got fluff at the top. I've got beard everywhere. He's got his little nose. We've got beard. We've got a brim. He sits up straight and doesn't fall over. He's not finished yet, but we're getting somewhere. So I'm going to spend a little bit more time. What are we at? Oh, it's only 45 minutes of my time. Probably more for you guys. We're going to spend a little bit of time. A word I like to use is fettling, because my mum's a potter. And in pottery, as well as I think in metalcraft, fettling is when you've taken something out of a mould and it's got the lines in it, and you're just tidying off those lines. I'm just wiping them away or filing them away. So I'm just going to fettle and just make them all nice and tidy. If there's any fluff in places it shouldn't be, get rid of it. Get him nice and firm. You need some bonding time with your wee yin. That's what we're doing today. What we're doing now. Just making him the perfect wee yin. I think he could definitely have a little bit more beard. I'm going to take some more of the nice locks. And just working around his nose now. Stabbing those in. That's better. I love this little hairline at the back. It just makes it, it shows where his face definitely is. Oh, and I promised. So spots and thinner stripes. Like on this one here, I've used a couple, I don't know if you can quite see, a couple of different greens, and I've put on thinner stripes. So what I'm going to do is show you how to do that. I am just going to use the red. So I'm going to take a thin bit, and I'm pulling it out and then twisting one end so it tidies it up a little bit, and then laying that down, stabbing it in. Now I don't hold on to the ends, because as you're stabbing it in, it's shortening it. And you don't want to be fighting against its own length at this point. And if you see messy bits like here, just add some more green on top. I didn't tell you that. So that's what I do. There we go. So we've got a nice thin layer there. You can also, for spots, let's pop on a spot. So again, it's just scrumpling it up. Stabbing it in. And then you have the spots. And the nice thing about felting, which I haven't actually mentioned yet, is if you don't like where you put something, especially at this stage, you can just pull it off. Once that's better felted in, like here, it's not going to come off because it's really well felted. But that light little felting that I did just then means it's still able to come off. So, I think we've covered all bases. I think we're good. It's just fettling. So if you want to join me for 10 minutes or so of fettling and rambling, and then I think I'm going to call it a night once I've had a sip of water. I'm looking forward to seeing all your colorways and all your little wee-ins. Wee means little. So I don't know why I'm adding in seeing all your wee-ins finished, because they all have such personality. It's wonderful. I'm going to do another thin red stripe up there, I think. You can take scissors as well. So if it's got little bits that you want to trim off, you can. I tend not to. I will either add stuff on top if stuff's gone in the wrong place, or move it. And then you'll see them when it's, maybe that's what I'm trying to say. You know it's felted when there's no like really big fluffy bits left. Does that make any sense? But it does take maybe an hour to, from this point I would spend another hour felting all the bits in properly, just going round and round, have a movie on, not think about anything, try very hard not to stab my fingers, and stab away. Have some snacks, have a drink, all that jazz. Oh, yeah, when you're doing the thin bits, if it hold it closer, but not so close that you stab yourself. If any of your bits are squinty, you can neaten them up by adding on more. Because it does, they shift, they move. It's not a science, it's an art. Everything shifts and wiggles and it's totally fine. So you can get these on my website. Well, you will be able to from tomorrow get these on my website. In a variety of colours. You can choose your own colorways. But if you've done one and you want to do more, there's going to be an option, because you don't need to get this bit of foam again. You don't need to get more needles unless you've broken them all. You don't need to get another needle holder. So I will have kits available that are just the fibre that you need, the wool that you need to make more. So you've got that option. Or if you needle felted before and want to do one of these and you have all the things already, then there'll be kits available with just the right amount of fibre to make your little wee-yin. Little wee-yin, I've said it again. Your little wee-yin. I think his nose needs to stick out a bit more. It's looking a little bit flat. I'm just gonna, again, I'm going off camera. Ah! Panic. There we go. Got loads of beard left there. I want let's squish his nose up a little bit. So I'm gonna, so you can angle things. So to squish his nose up a little bit, I'm gonna felt in from the bottom. Oh, almost stabbed myself there. And that's gonna squish it up. And I've just noticed he needs a bit more beard. Because this beard's only lightly felted in, it sometimes escapes. But he needs a bit more of that right underneath his nose. Oh, there we go. That's looking good. Is his nose too fat? Nah. Now, ooh, that's another thing I haven't mentioned and that I did in this one. If you've got wool yarn lying around, so yarn that's made from wool and isn't too highly spun, you can add your wool in. So I actually spun up some yarn and I coiled it round there. It hasn't shown up as much as I'd hoped on this one, but you can add it in and that makes nice thin lines. Have I got any yarn handy I can use for it? Not really. Don't. But if you've got some yarn lying around, you can do that. So you could take yarn for a walk around him, which would be really quite fun. You can put his brim in a yarn, or the top there can be made of yarn. But give your gnome personality. Is there anything else that we could do that would add to it? We could give him, could we give him a little patch? As if he's, ooh, there's a fun idea. Let's see what we could use for a patch somewhere. With a little green square? I reserve the right to be completely wrong. No, I don't think that's going to work. A little pocket on his bum? No. I reserve the right to be wrong, and I was. But I reserve the right that it's still a good idea, and if anybody wants to try it, give it a go. Another thing is, that I have not mentioned it at all, he's got quite a straight hat. I forgot the word hat there. This one's got a little bit of a kink in it, so you can do that as well, especially at this stage. So we can mold him. So if you want to have something like that, they stand, yep. So at the moment, what I can do is bend it over that way and stab, stab, stab down the way. Now, how I was saying the different directions you felt. Oh, so I'm bent on an angle, stabbing down. This is making this side really well felted. So now that, and then to get him back up, do the same again. That way. And again in the crack. If you keep working on that, you get a nice, look at him. He's got a little wonky jolly hat. So you've got that malleability. So when you're felting in, you can make different shapes. I think I might leave him like, I'm going to do a double bend. Let's get his hat going back straight again. Yes, right, let's do that. So I'm going to take that down that way more. And in there. Oh, let's do the one. I know a lot of people use wire and things like that, but I don't. So it's not going to be as not permanent. It will still be. It's not going to be as. There's a word and it's just not coming to me. If you wired him, it would be able to move him more easily. More easily. Bad words. Oh, hello, Robin. You've made it. This is my secret stream. I'm going to be doing another one on Friday. And we'll be doing this one again next month with everybody. How is the States treating you? I haven't had anybody to... Ben, Ben, yes. I've got to this stage in the stream where I am talking nonsense. Although at least I'm not talking nonsense to myself anymore. So you can totally, because we're doing it 3D, you can bend it. If we wired it up, it would be more positionable. That's the word I was trying to get out. It would be more positionable. But at the moment we're trying to give him a little bit of character. You don't have to. You can be... Oh, it's getting cold here too as well. Winter has definitely come. I would ask what temperature it is, but I won't understand if you do it in Fahrenheit, and I'll just get very confused. Basically, how many jumpers do you have to wear? I think should be the the question. Oh, and I should warn you, I found a way to keep the chat afterwards so people can read your comments afterwards. So behave. I'm watching you. Well, I think I found a way to keep the comments afterwards. I feel like his fluff is not big enough. I'm going to make his fluff bigger. And to do that, it's as simple as we did it before. Take a little bit more, lay it in half, and trying very hard not to stab your fingers. Stab it until it starts, you see it starts to push up like that, until it's all locked in the center, and then you can even more, I think. Oh, Celsius. I understand Celsius. Fahrenheit's the one that confuses me. I would ask Google, but I think I turned her off. This is a very odd picture on my screen. I'm just looking over at the monitor. I feel like I'm doing some kind of weird flower. Oh, I should do flowers soon. There we go. That's a better amount of fluff at the top. And look at that lovely bendy top he's got there. Perfect. I'm just going to felt in this bottom bit to make sure it's all secure. Ooh, 13 degrees. That's one of my favourite temperatures. Anything between 12 and 15 means that I can wear a nice jumper. It's not too cold, not too warm, but 0 degrees. Whoa, that's definitely on the cold side. That's when you need a massive hat and a fluffy beard. I wonder, so I'm now getting to the stage in the stream where my nonsense, I blame Robin. I think it's because you've shown up. My nonsense has intensified. I wonder what he keeps in his hat. I have questions. Could he keep a hot water bottle up there? A little heater? Snacks? What? Comment in the comments. I am scared of the answer. So people watching after the fact, comment in the comments below what your wee in keeps in its hat. I'm excited and scared to find out. Please keep it sensible and child friendly. Yep, I'm definitely. It's your. Oh, I need water. I was at the beginning. I got really nervous because I hadn't planned this very well. In fact, hadn't planned this at all. And nobody was chatting, and I was just like, I don't know what to say. And I forgot my thing. It was a palaver. But we have it now. Oh dear, what else? What else do I need to do? I think I might make his brim a little bit bigger. Build up it is all good fun. I really enjoy these streams. I'm excited for Friday. Friday should be good. Will you be making it on Friday? Because if so, the nonsense will continue unabated. Oh, I've stabbed. He needs his hairbrush. It's getting stuck in my thing. There we go. Do I want... I have questions. I feel like his hairline might be too high at the back. No. A little bit. Right, I'm going to do a little bit of... He's getting a minor hair transplant. I'm just going to move his hair down just a touch. Because the hair is only lightly felted in, I can do that. Wouldn't it be this easy if we could do this in real life? I would like my hair to be longer, please. And then I'm going to add a little bit more down there just to give it a slightly lower lip at the back than the front. Because you can see, like, on which one? This one. I've scooped it. I'm going to add around there some more hair. In fact, I might do that in a second. So it's a little bit lower, as if his hat is falling down his back. Now, I've been saying he, but I'm a very large Terry Pratchett fan. I don't know if anybody's read Terry Pratchett, but the dwarfs in Terry Pratchett are, both genders have beards and dress exactly the same. So this could be that's so exciting. Sorry, reading the comments. Turn on the live... I can say this now. Turn on the live chat comments if you're watching this after the fact, to see what I went at. I'm so happy that I can say that. That's awesome. Did you see any? I have questions. Also, because people can read the live chat now, I feel so much less like I'm just making up conversations with myself. Right, I'm going to give him, also he needs a little bit of work on his butt. I'm going to give him a little hairline round the back, because I really love the effect. I'm going to take this nice long one with lots of little curls and kinks. I'm just laying it down. So this one's just got the tiniest little bit around his back there. Oh, that makes such a difference, yes. Ooh, oh. Are you ever afraid that... Should I tell this embarrassing story? No, I'm not going to tell this embarrassing story. Do you ever actually see them, or is it always all tracks? Okay, so I'm filling in this little white patch that I've apparently left there and completely forgotten about. And underneath as well. Also, I'm slowly but surely working my way off camera again. Oh dear, I need to move my camera down for Friday. I don't know why. Oh, I know why I put it up so high. Yep, I will take the blame for that one. What time are we at? Oh, it's almost 8 o'clock. I should probably go home and have dinner. But I'm just having too much fun. There we go. His little bald bum is no longer bald. Excellent. Right, let's do the lineup. Oh, that's what I'm afraid of. Whoa. Although I'm in Scotland, I think they only have the occasional zoo escapee, but still. Let's see all our gnomes. This one's got a very rogue and excitable bit of beard. So let's just... There we go. Plonk that down a bit. And then, last but not least, this one got very skinny and long. It's a thing. We have our collection. Collection. I can't do it. Collection of wee-ins. Wee-in. I have to say it properly. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys... What do I have to do? I have to do the... Please like, subscribe, comment below, do all the YouTube-y things. I really appreciate it. Although I only do this for... do this because it's fun. And to sell my kits, which can be found on my website. I don't know if that whisper came through. Whoa. Yeah, read the comments, live comments. That sounds scary. But I'm sure they're more scared of you than you are of them. Maybe. Maybe not. Anyway, right, I'm going to have to wrap this up. I hope you've enjoyed felting along with me. Again, to go from sort of this firmness to the nice, almost ripe peach. So it's not quite ripe yet. Still a little bit, it's got a little bit of firmness in it, is what you're sort of aiming for at the end. You'll feel it after a certain point. It won't felt anymore, really. You'll just be stabbing randomly. So yeah, so put on a movie, give it an hour, and felt away. And then you've got your wee-in, gnome, tomty, whatever you want to call it, ready to go for the winter. Awesome. Right, Robin, hopefully I'll see you on Friday. If anybody else wants to join on Friday 6 o'clock. The first Friday of the month is normally when I do the felt-alongs. I do one every month. You can always find them. I'm going to point somewhere. There on my YouTube channel. They stay up. And be safe, Robin. I'll see you soon. Thank you, my squishies!